everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny and today I'm going to be taking you through my April TBR. It's always a bit strange to do my normal videos on the month where the BookTube prize results come out because there's 4 different videos taking up my publication spaces before my TBRs, so hopefully you don't mind this one being over a weekend or a weekend to April. So I was really looking forward to hashtag Aussie April this year, and as far as I can tell, I don't think it's actually happening. It's usually run by Jacqueline from 6 Minutes for Me and Doris from Aldi Books, and I haven't seen any announcement videos about it this year, but that didn't stop me from reading a few books by Australian authors. I've been collecting some and keeping some for a while. I started off with The Light Between Oceans by L.M. Stedman, and this book is historical fiction set on the western coast of Australia after World War I. And we follow Tom, who is a lighthouse keeper on a really small, isolated, basically rock island out on the coast, and he marries Isabel and things go from there. This was a very, very popular book 10 years ago, New York Times bestseller, and it was also made into a film. So I've been meaning to read it for a very, very long time, and I'm finally getting to it in April. The other Australian book I'm going to be reading is Terenellius by Claire G. Coleman, and Claire comes from the Wurlamin Noongar, or I guess that means Indigenous Australian. She is Indigenous to Australia. This is I think it's a reimagining of the settling of Australia. This book was also very, very popular when it came out, and I will check the publication date, 2017. So I am happy to get to it. I've had it on my TBR for a very, very long time. So those are my 2 Australian reads for this month. My audiobook for April is A Mind Spread Out on the Ground by Alicia Elliott, and this is a book of essays narrated by the author, and it is her experiences melded together with Indigenous issues in Canada, issues covering everything from poverty and hunger to the way we deal with mental illness. And so it's very powerful so far, and was also pretty important book and pretty popular book when it came out a couple of years ago in Canada. I also got out from the library Deaf Republic, which is poems by Ilya Kaminsky. This is actually, I think, kind of a vignette style of poems with some sign thrown in there. And this chronicles a time of political unrest, and Ilya Kaminsky is a Ukrainian writer, I believe. Although on the back it only says that he was born in the former Soviet Union. It doesn't specifically identify him as Ukrainian, but I'm going to learn more about that as I read the book, I think. And I first saw this one on Sean the Book Maniac's channel. I'm also reading the memoir Names for the Sea by Sarah Moss on my iPad, and this one is part of my 5-star predictions for 2022, which are all memoirs. It is set in Iceland post the economic collapse in 2008 and 2009, and it follows Sarah Moss and her family as they settle in Iceland while she has a year contract at the university teaching. And so she's very much approaching the culture from a newcomer, or the word that it seems is used in Icelandic to refer to anyone coming in, foreigner, perspective. And she's also learning about the history, learning about the food, learning about the cultures and customs that surround her as she's living in this new environment for the year. The other nonfiction I'm going to be reading in April is Original Highways, Traveling the Great Rivers of Canada by Roy MacGregor. And this is pretty self-explanatory in the subtitle. Roy MacGregor covers several large rivers across Canada, and they're mostly such as the St. Lawrence and the Fraser River here in British Columbia, the rivers that really brought settlers and colonialization into the country. And so I'm doing some personal research for my artwork around rivers, and this book is actually part of another TBR that I will be making a video about, a specific research TBR. I'm very, very excited to get to this and learn some history around the rivers and kind of immerse myself in thinking about rivers as much as humanly possible. And then my final book for April is the art book that I'll be featuring on Instagram, and it's pretty much called Tracey Emin by Neal Brown. And Tracey Emin is a very prominent artist. She was born in Margate in England, but became famous with the young British artists in the early 2000s. Late 90s, early 2000s was when her career really skyrocketed. And this book is a survey of her earlier work. So I think one of her most famous works is her installation of her bed. And when I saw her work in person, it was actually at a show at the Brooklyn Museum where they had installed her tent, which details all the people I've slept with are embroidered onto the tent. Here we go. So this tent in the gallery. And then you see all the names that are on the inside. So I'm really fascinated by Tracey Emin and her work, her life, her way of being in the world. She's recently moved back to Margate, where she was born in England, and is creating, made a huge studio there, but she's also making a museum. And she's also very much in, trying to invest her time in creating a space for artists to be developed, for younger artists. And yeah, I just really respect her work, and I'm really excited to show you some of these beautiful pieces and images on my Instagram later on this month. So that is my reading for April. I did end up putting my name down to be a judge for round 2, but then I was not selected as a judge. So that was a bit of at first I was like, no, I'm not going to put my name down. Then Robert said they needed more judges, so I put my name down, and then I didn't get selected. So my choosing my April TBR actually was a bit delayed in general because of that situation, but never fear, it's never that hard to pick out the books in the end. And so I did. And so that is my reading for April. I will be checking in at the end of the month to tell you what I thought about these books. And if you're interested in all those BookTube Prize content, just head on into my feed. You'll see it all there. And I will be back again soon with another video. Thanks for watching.